What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, party people? I got my boy. I promise you, it took a little longer to get on because I was trying to convince him to change his outfit. We get into this all the time on Facebook, but I mean, besides the great player that he was, the awesome player, I don't know about his choice of teams, man. That's just something that we have argued with for years now. And I think he knew he was coming on and he purposely wore this and just to get on me. But anyway, I want to go back, man. I appreciate everybody joining in. We got a full house coming on, man. Let me say what's up to people tuning in. What's up, Mr. Portridge? And I know they're gonna be rolling. And I try to do a little streaming thing today. No, you was my guinea pig today, man. I'm trying to stream against all over Twitter and LinkedIn. I don't know if it's gonna work until later. I don't know, but I want to talk about a little bit about how I met this dude, man, and how far back we go back. So we go back next year. This summer will be 20 years ago. I met this dude, man. We go back 20 years, man. And I remember we was in this, it's called the Arizona 4 League, and all the top prospects go to Arizona and we train, and basically 80-90% of those guys end up in the big leagues. And I heard a lot about Milt, man. It was I heard how great of a player was, how clutch he was. I think it was right after he came over Harrisburg, hit that game-winning home run. I think it was during that time. And I heard a lot of, ups and downs. I was like, man, let me meet this dude. Let me hear all this stuff that was going on about this Milton Bradley character. And they sat our lockers. I don't know if you remember this, Milt, but they sat our lockers right next to each other. And from that point on, I was like, he ain't nothing like everybody say. Like, and I just think that's been the story of my man's career. We're gonna get on, but it was like the dude was just cool at that time. He was a square. He didn't want to go. I used to try to take him out with me and do it. That's probably why he ended up having the career he had, and mine ended up doing what it did. But it's just crazy how misunderstood this man is. You're talking about really good people. This is one, and great player. And I just, I reached out to him and we connected, and he was willing to come on, and I appreciate him coming on, man. So anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce Milton Still Bradley to the show today. And Milt, man, if you could just kind of give a little background, man, about, where you, from the beginning, where you from, what it took you to get to the big leagues, and what you got going on now, man. So start from the beginning, if you could, Milt.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, I grew up in Long Beach, California. I played a little bit of every sport, but I kind of gravitated towards baseball once I got to high school. It was just more the crowd that I ran with was playing baseball. I was kind of just go to school, get my books and go home kind of guy. And so the baseball team was pretty much that. And one day somebody thought I was pretty good, a scout, and it just kind of went from there. I just wanted to make away from my mom at the time, the bills and everything going on. And so, this is how it went.
So let me talk about this. So let's go back to this Long Beach days, man. So you're overglossing this whole thing, man. So talk about the high school you went to. Talk about your, where you got drafted, by who, went what round, and kind of go from that high school point on. And we're gonna piggyback from that point on.
Yeah, well, my high school, it's known for academics and sports. A lot of guys that come out of there. It was 96. I got drafted. Montreal Expos. I was 40th overall pick in the second round. I was picked right after Jack Jones. I think you probably had him on here before.
Yeah.
So I went from high school, pretty much straight to rookie ball in West Palm Beach, Florida.
So let me ask you this, Milt. So second round pick, and he's being modest right now, man. So, I heard a lot about him, but when I played with him, you talking about 5 tools, and for the people who've been listening in, and we have some more people, man. We got Nick coming in, Mr. Ray from Cali, Javi from Arkansas, Jesse talking about how about them Cowboys from Vegas. Oh Lord, come on, Jesse. I thought we was people, but anyway, Christopher Gunter over there from Memphis. So they coming in now, but my thing is. So when I saw him play, you could very easily see why he was drafted away, and all the things that I was hearing about him when I played with him that time in the 4 league, he's being very modest right now. You talk about a 5'2", had a hose for an arm, which means a good arm, hit with power from both sides, switch hitter with power from both sides, had speed, and just definitely just flat out rake. You know what I'm saying? So. He being super modest and calm and cool and laid back right now, but the dude was a 5'2" talent. And, you saw, I saw it firsthand. I'm talking about, the ideal player, which you try to have your kids be, a switch hitting player from hitting with power from both sides who can throw, run, and hit. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about 5 tools. This was the guy. You know what I'm saying? What's up, bro? What's up, Darryl? And so he's being super modest, but I want to kind of go back, man. So you coming up through the system and you enter the big leagues you've been to the big leagues with the Expos, right?
Right.
What year was that?
That was 2000, July 19th, 2000.
July 2000. Many people, especially the older guys are going to know, but the kids listening, they don't even remember who the Expos was. You know what I'm saying? The Expos used to be the Nationals. Well, the Expos are the Nationals now.
Yeah.
And so back in them days, they had a bunch of talent. They were just known for they were cheap team, didn't pay much, but they always had talent. You know what I'm saying? And Milt was one of those guys. So you get called up in June 2000. Now, how long did you spend with the Expos before you got traded? And who did you get traded for? I mean, who was the trade for?
I was with the Expos for probably 2 years. At the trade deadline, the next year, 2001, I was traded right before the deadline. I believe it was a pitcher or something like that to the Indians.
Yeah, talking about Cowboys, all these Cowboy fans. Anyway, so you get traded to the Indians, and that's when we coming up and we run into each other up in the big leagues at that time when you with the Indians, and so you go up to the you get up to the big leagues. And when did you just start really? When did you understand that okay, I can really handle the big leagues? And when did you start, basically when you really knew that you belong? What year was that? Was it 2001? Was it before that? Or I mean, we always had the inner confidence, but when you were showing the results, yo, I got this.
Yeah, it was probably 2003 with the Indians. I was hitting over 300 for most of the year, and just having a good idea of what the pitchers wanted to do to me. And, was having a lot of success that year. Ended up short with a back injury and missed the last 6 weeks. But, that was the thing my whole career. I always had injuries throughout.
And that's the good thing about, I mean, we can kind of get into that, man, the struggles of being, injured. But the good thing about you, Milt, though, you put up those numbers early and you showed enough every time, that basically the injuries, you were still too good to basically get, taken off of rosters or anything like that. So when we get it, so in 2003, you kind of have your breakout year, even though you get hurt, you have your breakout year. So how long did you play with the Indians for?
2 years again. In right before the season started, 3 days before the season started in 2004, during spring training, I was traded to the Dodgers.
So now you go to the LA. Now you at the crib. All right. Now you at the house playing against, playing with your, I'm sure. Did you grow up a Dodger fan?
Yeah, I mean, throughout my life, I remember '88, Kirk Gibson and the home run, and that was probably the point where I knew I wanted to be a baseball player.
So now you're playing for your hometown team, man. So and you go off there too. You putting up sick numbers over there, and I remember that one incident, man. I remember that one incident in the outfield, man. You got all I'm knowing is, and I'm looking at it from sports, and I'm like, what this dude Milt doing, man? What? Anyway, one of them times, man, and I'm gonna go a little bit into that, but how many teams you end up playing for regular, throughout? How many years did you spend in the big leagues, and how many teams did you end up playing for?
I think it was, like 11 or 12 years, and parts of, and like 8 or 9 teams.
What was your best place to play? Was it at the crib, or what was your best, not just numbers, but just atmosphere, just love being on that, because you played a good amount of teams, man. So what was your best atmosphere as far as teams wise and stuff that you just have like really great memories of playing with?
Probably I would say San Diego in 07. I was only there for like a couple of months, but it was a veteran team, real solid, good dudes, and full of life, and just kept everything light, and it was we had pretty good success.
I remember that was a freak injury there too, man. And so after 07, when did you retire? When did you retire?
It was Mother's Day 2011.
2011. Wow, Mother's Day, huh? So now you don't spend 12 years in the big leagues. Great career, and we're gonna go back, but great career. So now you at the crib. Now you chilling. What does Milton Bradley get into? What is he doing? What is for the last 6-7 years? We taught the same years, but what has Milton Bradley been doing with himself these last 6-7 years post baseball career?
I mean, I have a couple of sons. I have a wife. My sons play sports. So I keep them active, and also up on their academics. I still live in LA, taking care of my kids, helping out with as much as I can. There's actually a charity event today. One of my buddies is doing in Compton, where they're doing a toy giveaway on Long Beach Boulevard. So I just try to stay involved and, talk to kids as much as I can. And stay in shape.
I see you getting a little thick over there. What's up, man? So what's up, man? You working out a little bit or what? You showing off your guns over there with them,
A little bit,
Every time I see you over there, you traveling somewhere. I mean, how many places you done been in the last 6-7 years, man? You done been everywhere, man.
I mean, my wife likes to travel. I don't mind traveling either, seeing places. So, I've been around a few places. I mean, it's part of, baseball, and, life, being blessed to be able to go see some things. So why not?
All right. So remember, hey, parent, let me make sure I shout out everybody that's coming on. Cabrera, Javi, I said, Darryl, Brian Webb, what's up? Alicia, what's up? Pierre, Philly, what up? We got Nick, what up? My boy George Carrion, what's up, George? I ain't seen you forever. You remember George Carrion? You remember George? You got drafted around the same time. New York boy. I ain't even see Georgia forever, man. Jesse, well, of course, Jerry, what up? Gamby, what's up? Javier, boy, I ain't seen him for Brian Children, what's up? Darryl, what's up? DB, what's up, baby? All right. Murph, what up? Donnie Murphy over there saying what's up to you. Pierre. Yeah. All right. So anyway, well, oh God, another damn Cowboy. Mark, man, I'm using my people, man, but come on with these Cowboy stuff, man. Lord have mercy, man. Gosh, anyway. So now you're enjoying your life and all of that, man. So, a lot of people don't know, man, you know what I'm saying? Because outside looking in, everybody would ask me, because they knew, you know what I'm saying, I knew you. And they were like, man, what's up with Milt? Like, because you, even like in the big leagues, playing all those years, you was just like misunderstood a little bit, man. So why I don't know. I just look at it like, man, dude was extra competitive. You always play with a chip on your shoulder, no doubt about it. And I think that's why you became the player that you became. It was just something that, what type of mindset did you have going into the season, going into the games, and why sometimes you would just fly off the edge? It was just one of those rages where you just like you locked in and you anybody met. What was it that made Milton Bradley, tick? You know what I mean?
I think like, it's kind of like I became, whatever I was. Like it was just my persona. I needed to be, I wasn't necessarily trying to be tough. It was just, that's who I was. I played on an edge. That's what made me successful. It didn't matter, what team I was on. I was trying to go hard. I was trying to win. It was just, you had to balance it out.
You had to balance it out. What do you mean balance it out? What does that mean over there? You had to balance it out, meaning what? So tell me, what is balancing out mean to you? Like, is it like you try to find that fine line of just like super competitive, like, yo, don't mess with me, and then sometimes of course, and other times it's just, you just think, it came off to me. It was like you just didn't care, like, yo, who you was playing against or whatever. You was getting yours. If you got in my way, you got in my way. Fans include everybody. Was it just that or what?
I mean, I really, I would stay signing autographs for any fans or whatever. It was just, there was like some heckling. There was a lot of negativity. I was just about trying to play ball. I didn't know where all that was coming from. I feel like they knew the kind of person I was. I kind of lived in the moment, in the atmosphere. So if there was a lot of energy involved, people would play off of that. You live and you learn.
I'm smiling because I was thinking about that one home run you hit. I think it was the playoffs again. It was the Dodgers and the Cardinals, and it was the playoffs, right? When you went up a tank on something like on at Bush over there, and the fastball. And what was your signature? What was your signature home run thing? What we used to do when you hit a home run? What was the signature?
I always unstrap the batting gloves.
So when you hit that bomb, you unstrap them batting gloves. I was like, everybody kind of get mad, whatever. But that was your thing, right? You like, I got him, boom, boom, and unstrap.
It wasn't even a conscious decision. Like it was just an automatic thing to do it. Once, people started making a big deal out of it, and my manager told me not to do it, I had to like consciously think about not doing it.
I want for the people, I want to go back to this fans thing when you said, and parents, please ask questions, anything. I want to go back, and a lot of, like, I be talking to my kids and everything, they be training. I be talking to them about, like, because they don't really understand, like, how ruthless fans could be in the outfield, man. How they talk crazy about you, how they disrespect, talk about everything about you from top to bottom, your mother, your everything, and all of that type of stuff. Give an understanding on a normal, especially when you kind of get known as being, talk back or react to these guys, man. Talk about a normal day. Like, what was your toughest place to play on the road for, as a, being on the road guy, and the type of things that used to be said? Give me like your top 2 or 3 things that they would just say to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I think normal fans don't understand how crazy, like, if you don't want to. So if you could, man, give me 2 or 3 things, 1 or 2 places that you couldn't stand, and then some of the things that used to be said to you, man.
I mean, there's places all over, but probably Wrigley Field sticks out the most to me. I can remember back when I was a rookie and Tim Raines was on the team. The first game I was just, starting outfielder, and they, everybody, they're out there yelling like, Bradley, who are you? Bradley, where's Tim Raines? Why are you out here? They started looking up your stats. They started reading off every stat you had. And, with your family member, your middle name, they start just going through every little thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be every game like this everywhere you go. But, Wrigley, they're the bleacher creatures for a reason. They talk a whole lot.
Did you ever deal with any type of racial issues or anything with these fans, man, coming up, man? Did they ever overstep their boundaries too much on the racial side?
I mean, I've heard, a lot of things, kind of forget about it now, but, at the time, it was just a lot of uncomfortable things. I didn't enjoy playing in Chicago too much.
Playing for Chicago or playing against them?
Either way, I didn't enjoy playing in Chicago very much.
See, everybody loves the Cubs. Everybody think the Cubs is this and that and all of that, because you ain't the only one that I've said, because you and I both know some other people that play for them and against them, and definitely play for them, and said they hated that, playing. And I God forbid you talk about the lovable, whatever, they Cubbies fans and all of that type of stuff, but this is what I've heard, the same thing too. So like, it ain't as cool and as everybody think it is playing for Wrigley. Do you feel like that or what?
I mean, the atmosphere, the culture, the tradition, you can't beat that. But if you're struggling a bit and you walk out of that place, the fans are right on top of you. I've had people beating on my car as I try to drive down the street to go home, make you not want to go outside or go do anything. I've been in restaurants and I've heard like waiters talking bad about me, not knowing that I was in the restaurant. It's just been a little bit of everything there. So, I mean, it's just nothing like I've ever experienced anywhere.
Okay. You being cool right now. I get it, man. And I know you trying to be PC over here, right? And I'm trying to get it out you, man, because I want this to be about some real talk, man, because I want everybody. I'm just saying the big leagues is the big leagues, no doubt about it. And certain places are great, but what they portray, and then, they always say the one bad apple, and I get it, right? But trust me on this, man. When people that's listening in, it ain't. It's more bad apples than you think out in certain cities and certain places. And I'm just telling he's going on to Chicago. He's talking about even playing for the Cubs, the issues that he had. And he could be one guy and all of that, but I'm sitting here to tell you people who's listening in, is more than one guy who have said the same things that Mill has said, just for the lovable Cubbies. And I ain't trying to bash Chicago, but it's just one of those things that just came up because I actually love the city. And I'm just, but I'm just saying it ain't, everything always great, especially now that they win, is always great about the Cubs. But I know those issues that I didn't experience them personally, but I've heard from plenty of good friends of mine about the issues that goes on. But anyway, I see you trying to be PC. I'm gonna say it for you. I'm gonna get it out of you, man. But anyway, so now you over here, you balling from both sides. You're going through your ups and downs. If you get your contract and everything like that, man. So when did you ever really think of like, man, is this what it's all about on the negative side? Like, is this what it's all about? You know what I'm saying? Or was it just, you just kind of blocked it all out and was just like, listen, man, this is what I signed up for. I love this game or whatever. But it was not saying quitting, but I'm just saying like, it was just like, is this what it's about, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, from a kid on, you play for the love, and then you happen to be able to get paid for that, and you're just like, this dream come true. And then sometimes it becomes a job when it gets a little rough. You get the injuries. It's harder to warm up and get started. You're getting older. You deal with personal issues. People don't see that. They don't know that. They don't understand any of that. They just want to see numbers. And so, and then sometimes, you just get in tune with, the guys. And, I was a guy that early on in my career, I just went out there and played and, was trying to be successful. And then as I got older, I enjoyed being around the fellas and the camaraderie and hanging out a little bit. And, just knowing that it wasn't going to be that way forever. So, I got nothing negative really to say about baseball. I mean, it's rough, you know, when you're struggling, like with anything in life, but when it's going good, there's nothing like it.
So you dealt with injuries, man. Like how is it for you as an athlete? You kind of, you kind of get into it. Talk a little louder to me. It's hard to hear you. But
Okay.
the what was, I mean, I know you dealt with a lot of injuries, man, like myself, but what I want to hear your opinion about dealing with injuries and the mindset as an athlete, you know what I'm saying? Because you feel like you invincible and you destructive, but talk about dealing with injuries, your mindset during those times, and how it makes you feel as a player when you can't play at your top game, the top of your game, because you're dealing with issues and playing with injuries. Can you kind of dig a little deeper into that, man? How'd you feel, and how tough is it playing with real injuries? You know what I'm saying? Not being hurt, but injuries.
Yeah, I mean, from the outset, like when I was in the instructional league, I pulled a hamstring or whatever, and I was constantly rehabbing it, and people thought I was dogging it, or not really that hurt, and I had to stay extra, and everybody's gone, and I'm there, and I'm still running every day. And if there was a punishment for me, it was always more running. And so I was constantly running. And so I've had torn patella tendon, torn ACL. I've had elbow surgery. I had to get my appendix taken out during the season one time. So it's just all kind of random and freak things that have taken place. And I always, as soon as I was able to get back on my feet and get back on the field, I always did that. And, I feel like sometimes it probably would have been better suited for me to take more time and really make sure I was healthy.
Did you ever feel pressure as a player or from the front office or from the coaching staff to like rush yourself back on the field? So, either, with money involved or contract involved or, basically, because this is high stakes baseball, man. Somebody be ready to take your position and all of that, like dig a little deeper into that. You ever feel like, man, I ain't nowhere near where I need to be, but they pressuring me. You ever feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like I needed to get out there and perform, but deep in my heart, I knew there wasn't nobody that could do what I could do. So I was never in a situation where I felt like somebody could come in and take my spot. I didn't want to be hurt, but it was there. I always worked out, did whatever I had to do to get back. Especially off of major injuries. I tore my ACL in late September, and the next year I was starting the season playing. So I dealt with a lot, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. So all right, I'm gonna get into these questions, man. I'm trying to pry these things out of him, man. So, I know you're dealing with injuries, and when you on the field, there's nobody could do what you could do. Do you think a lot of the issues and a lot of the, basically the issues you would have on the field is it it's just always that you kind of felt like, man, I'm doing all of this, man, and I could keep on 100. You can be PCO you want, but we know a lot of bread is on the table. So you playing for Dodgers and all of this type of stuff, but you're really playing for Team Brown or Team Bradley. You know what I'm saying? That's who you playing for, the family over there. And did you always feel like, man, I'm doing all of this for you, you know what I'm saying, to not just me to help you over there, but you don't appreciate, the pain, and if I'm hobbling or whatever and I'm running down first base, you take it as I'm dogging it, but I know that I'm really hurting, but you're getting mad at me and saying that I'm lack of this or lack of that and all that type of stuff. Do you feel like, like I said, it was always that disconnect, not always, but for a lot of teams, a lot of coaches and stuff, that they just never could really understand,
I was kind of just like always that guy that if I was on the field, people's eyes followed. And so no matter what I was doing, if I was in the outfield, a guy could hit a ball, 20 rows deep into the stands in left field or whatever, but I had to move in that direction, or they're like, what are you doing out there? If I was running to first base, they had the stopwatch on me, timing me every time, like, you're out hustling. And so, there were times, you're trying to save it a little bit, you're sore, you're banged up, you're hurting, if you give it 90% down the line, that should suffice. But when they're clocking you, every single time, they're like you're dogging it. So every single time you're running 100 miles an hour, and then they want to know why you're getting hurt.
I want people, parents, and people that's listening to understand what he's saying. So when you're coming up through the system, when you're coming up and you're trying to get drafted, you gotta bust it because they trying to time you and all that type of stuff. But once you start putting miles on your legs, you know what I'm saying, you go from playing, travel ball, you play a lot of games, but when you start a minor league and a major league season, you go from playing 40, 50 games in high school plus, and then you go to 144, 162 games, and God forbid if you get blessed to play in the playoffs, you're playing 180 some games. And when you put a pounding, people think, oh, just baseball, you're standing out there, but it's a marathon day to day, and your body, your legs, that's when pulls and injuries happen when you're fatigued. So what he's saying is, and it gets so misconstrued. You see the Machados and everybody sitting bad mouthing and talking this and that, but I understand when people think, oh, he's getting paid millions of dollars, should be whatever. But certain times in athletes' playing days, you have to learn how to preserve your body, meaning like you have to pace yourself. And when they put labels on you, or they feel like they are hawking on you particularly, that you can't do the same thing that another dude, because they expect you to be running four flats and everything down the line. So what he's trying to say, again, being PC, is that he's being called out on, he's being picked on, all right, for just because of what they think he is not, or he is doing. And as a player, you start to resent that, or after the time after time after time, and you got to do everything to hold it in, but sometimes it blows up. Okay, now I understand everything Milton was saying. Obviously, I know Milton, but I dealt with it on another scale too. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't have the blowups and the national thing like that. But behind the scenes, it gets to that point where it's like enough is enough. And I just, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad he's coming on. Again, he's being PC, but I don't care. I'll do it. I'll say it. Certain athletes, certain times, you know what I'm saying? It ain't what it's cracked up to be on that level sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's you gotta like, and that's like being any type of employee. You just gotta take it in one end, whatever, and keep doing your job the best you can, and understand that there's people that's not gonna like you, and people think that you could hit 320 something like he was doing, but it still wasn't good enough at times. And so anyway, I'm just, I'm talking for you, guys. I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to be cool and calm and everything or whatever, but I'm just saying, sometimes you get it dealt a bad hand, and outside looking in, oh, he's getting paid millions of dollars. Yeah, but you just want to put up numbers and put it and shut up and just do your job. But sometimes it's not as easy as what you think. It's not as easy, and it's not as glamorous as sometimes what they portray. And you just have to be mentally strong to do it. He put 12 years up on him. You know what I'm saying? And made millions off of them. He could talk about the injuries, and that's tough. A lot of people, deal with injuries, but they ain't got to deal with half the stuff that an athlete in his caliber have to deal with. So anyway, man, I'm speaking for you, Milt. Let's I want to go into these questions, man. So we got, I know I don't scare people off the big leagues over here with that talk right there, Milt. I'm just trying to keep them 100 with them, man. You know what I'm saying? So they think it's all sweet for everybody. It ain't always Anyway, Brian Webb asks, when did you start switch hitting?
Ever since I was a kid. My dad was left-handed, my mom was right-handed, and so my dad would always give me the bat and the ball left-handed, and so I could kind of throw left-handed too. So when I shoot basketball and all that stuff left-handed, I kind of do both.
All right. So when was the age? What was the actual age? Just all as far as back as you can remember, or what?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, I did it all the time. I remember like maybe my freshman year, I only hit right-handed, but after that it was switch hitting.
And did you have success right out the gate, always switch hitting out the gate?
No, I mean it was always a work in progress. I always felt more comfortable hitting right-handed. That was my natural side, and so it was always a timing, a rhythm, just a feel thing from the left side.
All right. So what do you think what was the key to your success? Brian asked that. What was the key? What clicked? What made Milton Bradley the 12-year All-Star, the All-Star and the 12-year, Major League guy? What was the key to all of that?
I think, it was just, probably, I don't want to, philosophical about it, but I mean, it's just faith. A lot of people supporting me, looking out for me. People helping me along the way. And just having talent and trying to utilize it, the best I could. Probably could have done more with it, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. What is what do you think is the best drill for hitting with kids? You know what I'm saying?
Well, with everything, you just want to be balanced. A lot of times kids want to mimic a stance or something that they see somebody else doing, but you just got to get where you're balanced and you're comfortable. Getting that front foot down and, using your backside to explode through the ball. A lot of times, kids don't really use that backside and they use a lot of their arms. But you'd be surprised how much more you can get when you turn that backside into it.
Jesse said, "This is great. I saw Milton play in Southern Cal in high school and with my Dodgers. What a great feeling to see some of the guys from my area make it." I think he said he went to Dominguez, I think he said. And Simeon also said, Simeon Todell from the play with the Orioles organization said Milton played hard. He went hard. Next question. They were talking about the Chicago. If you could change one thing about pro ball, what would that be? Darryl asked in Vegas. What was the one thing you wish you would have done differently? It's a good question.
For myself,
Yeah.
I met this trainer, later on in my career, that was pretty good. And I wish I would have met him when I was younger and been working out with him all along. It might have alleviated some of the injuries and kept me on the field more. That's just one thing. If I could have been on the field more, that's just one thing that I wish.
So you think hiring somebody like a trainer early in your career would have benefited you, like a personal trainer one-on-one? Because I know you trained hard, but like having that personal one-on-one trainer from the gate would have really helped you.
There are different programs and things that I did working out, but as far as just a guy understanding your body, what you need, mixing it up, because I get bored easily. He was a godsend, later on in my career, and I just wish I would have met him earlier.
What's your opinion on travel ball?
I mean, me personally, I played every sport growing up. I feel like kids should be well-rounded and play a little bit of everything. Don't get too locked in to one thing, because, we're noticing a lot of young guys, especially with their arms, having to get Tommy John and shoulder surgeries because they're playing baseball year round and throwing, but you need a break sometimes. And so, you got to understand your body, especially if you're a young guy and a pitcher. You got to take breaks and, play other things and see what you like, don't get locked in to just one.
Do your kids play multiple sports?
Yeah, my kids play football, basketball, baseball. Yeah, like the last couple of years, they haven't even played baseball. They've been playing football and basketball.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like push them into anything, because when my oldest son, who's 13 now, was younger, I was always on him. about every little thing and really pushing him. And I feel like I kind of pushed him away from baseball. But my youngest son, I just kind of let him do what he, do whatever he did. And he's more, he was more naturally athletic, and he's pretty good, and you don't have to, push him or prod him to work at it. And my older son, was real tall. He kind of grew, was real lanky and uncoordinated and had to, grow into his body. But I never really had to deal with that because I was always kind of small.
So let me ask you this. So I don't have no sons, and I kind of said that. I worry about that if I had a son of really like being too hard when it comes to the game of baseball. You know what I'm saying? Is that something that you regret, like pushing them so hard, early? Is it just because I'm sure it just kind of came natural to you? It's like, why you ain't doing this and doing that? Because especially somebody a caliber athlete that you were, were you real tough on them, and did you regret it later on? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, you're my son. Like, what are you doing out there? Sometimes you just feel like that. I don't remember having difficulty, trying to perform at any sport, at any time. So if I'm playing football or catch with my son, and he's dropping the ball, I'm like, man, what's going on, man? So. I saw a bit on MLB Network that Jim Tomey had, and he talked about his son and how he doesn't even talk about the game for like 2 days. And, he allows his son to bring it up and talk about whatever he wants to talk about. And so there was one thing that I always did, even if I was on my son, when the game was over, I always wrapped my arm around him and walk to the car. So he know that I loved him no matter what. But some people just, you don't have the patience like you would with somebody that's not your kid. That they know like the fundamentals and the technique because you talk about it every day. So when they go out there and they're pulling their head off the ball or, checking their, doing things they're not supposed to do, it gets frustrating because, you're thinking, hey, people, they know that you're my son. You're supposed to be an example out there, and you're doing everything all wrong.
Yeah, I know it's a tough pill to swallow, man. So, well, Brian asks, when is the best age to start switch hitting?
I mean, I feel like you can start at any time. I mean, you give a kid a bat and, let him hit off the tee, left-handed, right-handed, start tossing him the ball, left-handed, right-handed, and, whatever comes natural to him. It was a natural thing for me.
Cabrera in Manchester, Mark in Indiana asks, think back to your youth days. And are there areas of your game or training that you feel you should have put more focus into when you your early days?
Just the discipline. I mean, sometimes as, when you have talent, you're a young guy, you just, think you get to show up and play. And, showing up and warming up and preparing my body, on the off days, taking care of it, icing, stretching, massage, drinking plenty of water, leaving the alcohol alone to an extent, just all those things, as a young player, I wish I would have focused on more.
So even before that, because that he, what he's saying, and Milk, talk loud, cool, so low over there, like you talking to some female. You ain't talking to your wife. Anyway, what he was saying is, when he was younger in the game, he wished certain things, pull muscle pulls and taking care of his body on that end, which I could, attest to during the season. But Mark, I think, was asking like maybe even more like in middle school, high school days. Is back in those days, would you change, something that you did or didn't do? You know what I'm saying? That's what he meant.
When I was in middle school, I actually I made the team because during the tryouts, I was at shortstop and there's a ball at the middle, and I laid out for the ball. And the coach, he liked my effort. He said, I like your hustle. You just made the team. Before that, I was trying balls in the outfield. I had never really played outfield, and I was running in. They were going over my head. And I was probably like 13. And he just saw that I put in effort and I wanted to get better. And, I guess he saw that there was some potential there. And, from that point, Mr. O'Toole, my 7th grade PE teacher and baseball coach, it just kind of took off from there.
Now, did you go to Long Beach Poly or no?
I went to Long Beach Poly, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's how I figured. If people don't know, Long Beach Poly is a great. I mean, name some of the people that went to your school, man.
I believe like Billie Jean King, Tony Gwynn, Deshaun Jackson, Chris Gwynn. I mean, I'm probably forgetting people. Chase Utley.
Chase went to Long Beach Poly, huh?
Chase went to Poly. I played with him. He was like a year younger than me.
I didn't know that.
But yeah,
Snoop Dogg, right?
Snoop Dogg, Willie McGinnis. It's known for a lot of football players and stuff like that. Cameron Diaz went there.
Yeah.
So actors, a little bit everybody.
Yeah, I didn't realize Chase went there. I didn't know that. No, Cabrera, Massachusetts asks, what do you think about a 7.1 runner 60-yard dash?
Yeah, you got to work on your speed. Now, I mean, I just know for myself, at a young age, I was probably like 6'5", 6'6", range. Pretty good speed, not anything world class, but
6'5" is good, man.
But you could you probably work on that. It's a good it's decent, but you can probably work on that still and get faster.
He's trying to be nice. He's basically saying like 7.1 Cabrera, he needs to be faster. Especially, I think Cabrera, your son is in the outfield. 7.1 will not cut it. The major league average is 6.8, and he's saying he wasn't world class speed, and he ran at 6'5", and he was saying that it ain't world class. But when you get up to this level over here, you see guys that are really just when they can just flat out just get it. It's flat out getting it. But yeah, so 7.1, it just depends if you're a catcher in here. And but anyway, the D Brooks in Alabama asks, being out of the game now and seeing the big business side of the game, do you still have a passion for it?
I enjoy all sports. I never looked at it from the business side. I just kind of played. I wasn't like marketing myself or anything like that. I love to see the way the game's going. I like to see guys get paid. Never been a hater about that. I feel everything's going in the right direction. I feel like baseball has the best union going. A lot of other sports could, stand to learn some things.
Amen to that, man. So yeah. The Nick asks, spring training wise, how much time did you spend on your weak side compared to your natural side? How much,
Yeah, I mean, you get plenty of cage time during spring training. I mean, so you go in there and, you get a feel for it. I usually would try to do like an even amount of swings from both sides, but if I felt like one side was feeling good, I needed more from the other side, I would work on it. But I would imagine that I probably hit 3 times as much from the left side than I did the right.
Especially during the season, right? I mean, playing in games, right?
You're going to see more righties more often. Every now and again, you run into a stretch. I feel like one of my best seasons was during spring training. We seemed to have like a righty, lefty, like almost every other game. And I was able to get a good, get locked in from both sides before the season started. And, that led to me having a good season.
All right, guys, y'all be nice over there, man. But Who was the biggest influence on your game?
I mean, a lot of the OGs. I mean, like Kenny Lofton, Ken Griffey Jr., Bernie Williams, Barry Bonds. You watch, kind of emulate their style, their game, their swagger. I got to, play with Ken Griffey, got to play with Kenny Lofton. Have met and spent some time doing rehab with Barry Bonds. So, I mean, he's another guy that, maybe a little bit misunderstood, but, you get to know him and it's cool.
Let me ask you this, man. So do you think it's a black and white thing? Do you think that it's tough for, black players to really, because you're saying Barry and all of that, and you kind of tapping around that whole thing, man. But let's keep it 100, man. Do you think that it's extremely tougher for a young black, dude to be playing in this game? You know what I'm saying? Compared, and just, let's just keep it on. I'm like, I know my opinion, but I want to hear yours. Do you think it's tougher?
I mean, when you see like basketball and football and, the way guys get promoted and, they just don't do that as much in baseball. So it's not as fancy or as cool probably to, young guys growing up in urban communities. So it is kind of tough. I mean, a lot of times you're one of a few, if any, on a team. You got different music, different, just different ways that you came up and go about things. Like in your free time, some guys like go hunting, fishing, and, maybe that's not your thing. So you just kind of adapt to, situations as they come along. It can be difficult, but, I always got in where I fit in.
So when in those situations, man, I hear it all the time and I experienced it too, but it's like when you, like you said, you don't do the things that, most, like, I never realized how popular country music was until I got in the minor leagues and came up through the system. I was like, I promise you, I maybe knew one country song in my whole life. But God, everywhere I go, I like it. Country music must be really popular. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't realize that until you kind of come out and you get into this game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, sometimes you do feel like, man, like I'm alone out here. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't have, number one or two on your, brothers on your team. Listen, we could cry over that type of stuff. We know that you're playing, in the major leagues and all that type of stuff. But I'm just talking about, that could be tough, right? Just being out out there feeling alone at times, right? You ever felt like that or what?
Yeah, you have a road trip. You got guys that play video games, you got guys that like to go out. And, maybe you're just kind of, a chill dude. And, I always felt like I never really fit in any particular group on the team, no matter who it was. I just never really had found my niche or whatever.
That's when I go back to the full league. I used to be like, come on. You be like, nah, man, nah. Man, I'll be like, used to hurt my feelings. Like, you don't like me, man? What's up, man? You don't want to come, But as we got older, and I, got to know you more over the years, I was like, I don't feel the, I'll talk to CC and stuff like that. He'd be like, yo, that's just, I say, okay, all right. I'm just saying, cause I'm like, I think I'm very cool. I think I'm cool to hang with. You know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, but I kind of knew that, and that's. Listen, certain guys are just like that. They just like to stay off on their own and all of that. And again, that's probably what made you really, the player that you became. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, man. So, Brian wants to ask, what type of opportunities opened up after opened up for you after your playing days were over? Did being being a pro player, a pro professional player, open up some of those doors for you?
I mean, there's always people that want you to, come talk to the kids. I feel like that's an important thing, very influential, especially coming from, urban community, inner city. A lot of kids aren't playing baseball. They don't know, if they should continue to play baseball, if they should do something else. But whatever you got a passion for, I mean, don't limit yourself. I never imagined like, brother myself coming from Long Beach where we playing baseball. I always liked basketball more, but I ended up being pretty decent at it and working at it and fell in love with it. There, the teamwork, the chemistry, all the sacrifice bunting, sack fly, tagging up, moving runner, all the little small intricate things that the average casual fan watching the game doesn't see or doesn't notice. You learn to appreciate all that when you're part of the team, and it's a big deal.
It's funny you say that, right? So when you're in a situation where I'm piggybacking what you're saying because I get it. Like I used to tell people, like, man, I love seeing opposite field home runs, or I love seeing somebody just hitting bombs, no doubt about it. But when somebody just takes like a 0-2 dirty backdoor slide or a changeup down in the way, and the man on second base, and they just stay on it and lace the opposite field, double in the gap, or because I know as a hitter, certain pitches was tough to hit, and when I see that from the hitter, I appreciate that even more than somebody that just unloads and just hit a bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like when I just appreciate the hitting portion of the game, or like like you said, a guy getting him over the third base when he's burying that sink in on you. And you know how tough it is to stay inside that ball and still hit that ground ball from a right-hander over towards second base. I dig what you say right there. You know what I'm saying? Those, as a hitter and knowing how tough when that pitcher is, like knowing what you're trying to do and you still got to get the job done, and you end up doing it. I get what you're saying, man. That is big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Matt Miller, you play with Matt, right? Did you play with Matt over in Cleveland with the years he was over there?
I probably did.
Yeah, the sidearm. All right. He's on. Anyway, the Brian wants to ask, what was the toughest pitch to hit to you?
A good changeup, I would say. For me, any change of pace type of pitch, like I didn't care if, I had a dirty slider or, whatever, if it was hard. It was the change of pace and the throwing off the timing and the rhythm. Later on in my career, it was the cutter. That was the death of me. Looked like a fastball and then cutting in on you. That was probably the pitch I hated the most.
I told those guys, I tell my guys, they get, when they're young, they get so caught up in velocity, velo. I said, listen, man. I said, once you start getting older, you like the velo as long as it's straight. Now I'm talking, if it's 97, 98 plus, that's just, whatever. But I've seen guys get tore up too with throwing 98 too. But anyway, I was like, once you get older, it's the movement, the changes of pace. It's the 88 to 90, 91 sinker that's just down in a way that just you don't strike out of it, you just hit off the end, or you can't stay on it just long enough, or them change-ups that you just out in front and you kind of pop it up or off the end. I said, them are the ones that frustrate you. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, the young kids, they get so caught up, oh my God, he throws hard. And I said, when you get older, as long as it's straight, you're going to run to the racks. You know what I'm saying? You agree with that, right?
Yeah. You just stay inside that, go middle the other way with the fastball,
Is that your approach, man, that you teach your kids or you teach anybody that you talk hitting, man? What was your approach to hitting, man?
Yeah, it was always, try to get the foot down early, middle the other way. You run into trouble when you're trying to pull the ball too much. So, stay in the middle of the field and stay in the gaps.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's pretty much all the questions that came up. So Listen, man, we right at an hour, Milk, man. I appreciate you taking an hour out your day, man, to spend time with me, man. I know the people listening definitely appreciate it. I want to do. Hold on one second, man. Let me get over. So I've talked early in the week, or maybe over last weekend or so, I've talked about my program that I have been building. And so I was supposed to launch it on Wednesday. And so I just got the technical part done with and finalized. So on the link on the when it says post, formal outfielder, you see a link up there for the people that are listening in. All right. So if you have gotten any type of value from not just what Milt has said, but over I've been doing this almost 2 months now. So, and I'm bringing on guests, and I will continue to bring on guests like Milt. Like the other day, I had Dave Clark, current third base coach for the Tigers, Jock Jones, college coaches galore, and I will continue to bring on. But if you have gotten any type of value from them, okay, to the people that I'm bringing on, I'm asking that you support me. Over the 2 months, I've just, been giving straight content and value, man. But if you feel like any of this stuff that you've gotten has helped you, I ask that you support me by going ahead and clicking on this link. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it if you go ahead and, purchase the product. I've been talking about it. I should have talked about it more, but I finally finalized it early this morning. But I will launch it again over the next few days. But I just wanted to kind of finish, and I put the link up there, man. So people listening in, go ahead and support me, man, and go ahead and purchase this product. That's only if you got any type of value over the last month and a half or so, okay? All right, shameless plug. I know I get it, but it is what it is, okay? I appreciate everybody listening in. I'll be here tomorrow at 3. Milt, my brother, man, I appreciate you taking out the time, man. And, I know you're busy, man. I know you getting ready for this weekend when y'all go ahead and lose to the Buccaneers. But I appreciate you taking out that time. And next time you come on, I promise you're gonna see a little black box over there while you talking, because there ain't no cowboy stuff coming on over here next time, man. It's gonna be forbidden. I promise you, man. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you coming on, man. Any last words, man? Okay, you can talk your junk now. LeBron over there. I know you just a pig and mug right now, huh? You got the Cowboys doing. I know you feeling good about yourself right now, huh?
It's a good time to be a sports fan. Cowboys. I got my Lakers. And even just living in LA, the Rams and Chargers playing good ball. So, the sports is active up over here.
How many Cowboys games you saw so far this year?
In person, I went to the game in Seattle, and I went to the Giants game in Dallas, the first game.
Okay.
Thinking about coming out to New York, but for that last game, kind of cold though.
Nah, we don't want no Cowboys fans over there, man. You went last year, then you go to, I saw a pic. You went up last, then you go to New York last year, right?
Yes, I did, and Odell Beckham did the moonwalk, and Michael Jackson in the end zone on us.
Yeah, we ain't do good, but we did what we had to do that game, right? Yeah. We won that game, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about football this year, man. We choking this year, but anyway, Milt, man, I'll stay in touch with you, brother. I gotta have you on in the near future, man. I appreciate it. You're looking out for your boy and coming on, man. And give me a little last words. Any last words you got for any young kids out here, man, and parents listening in? And we're gonna end it with your last words, man.
Yeah, just don't limit yourself. Go hard in the classroom. Go hard on the field. You never know who's watching. What you can achieve till you try. Been able to live a wonderful life because of baseball, and want others to live that life too.
You heard him, man. It is, man. It's a great life, man. You meet some great people like Milt too with this game. People from all over, all walks of life, man. And it is ups and downs in this, but just like him, I know he wouldn't change anything. Baseball's gotten everything, has done it, everything I've gotten is because of baseball. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I want to start off with, we're going to end with that, man. Remember that link that's up there. I heard you, Darryl. Tomorrow I'll start off with the link over there, but I just wanted to kind of get my boy going over here. So I appreciate you, Milt, again. I want to say peace and love to everybody that's listening in. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, join me before we finish it up with these holidays. I'm going to keep this ball moving. I may have a special guest on tomorrow. All right, so 3:00 tomorrow, Central Time. Milt, love you, my brother. I see you later. All right, man.
All right, man. One.
All right, peace.